Welcome to the channel. Today we have for you yet another mock draft. Today we're going to be picking from the 6th spot and the 12th spot. I'm joined with my younger brother Carson, and we've got a traditional fantasy format here: one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a flex, and a tight end. No kickers or defenses. They're lame. Get them out of your game. We want to score points, not worry about points allowed. And with that being said, let's jump right in.
This is our last episode of our preseason mock draft series, so I hope you all have enjoyed so far and carry the momentum into the regular season. And let's see. Okay, I wasn't really looking forward to pick 6, honestly. Being dead center sometimes isn't very fun, but I'm going to go Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. If you're wanting to go RB heavy early on, obviously I love Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp at that spot as well. But I think, there are fewer elite option running backs in the first round, unlike previous seasons. So, yeah, I'm not mad at it.
Happy with Bijan.
I may go opposite of you. We're going to see here in a moment. I'm going to look ahead to what I can expect at running back. Joe Mixon might be there. I like that. But I think what I tend to gravitate towards when picking at the end of a round, specifically pick 12, is kind of getting a little bit of both. So I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb and Nick Chubb. That way I have the flexibility moving forward. If there's a supreme value at one position, I'm not handcuffed to two running backs already.
Yeah, that is kind of my go-to as well if I'm at that pick 12, that end of the first round, honestly. That is my most common strategy. Okay, I feel like it's tremendous value getting Devontae Adams right here. I feel like that's the case.
I don't disagree.
He fell in ADP recently, so I'm going to go for him.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor just coming off the board. I want to talk a little bit about that. Yeah. He's been granted permission to seek a trade. We saw how that worked out for Austin Eckler during this offseason. Now, obviously, a much different story in terms of age, but it's going to be really tough for Taylor to find a team to take the draft capital required by the Colts and then turn around and spend all the real-world money on Jonathan Taylor with his new contract. So I really don't think it's gonna work out for him to be in a different team, and I expect him to stay with the Colts like Eckler did.
Yeah, I think that's very true. It's just too close to the season to realistically expect anything different, honestly. At least that's just my perspective from seeing how it's panned out in the past. Okay, you were buying me time, and I liked that. And I think, I'm gonna go Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I think that's good value for him, middle of the round 3. Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, doing hero RB strategy right now, I guess.
Nice. Okay, so here I like Calvin Ridley and I like Joe Mixon. I'm a little concerned about Tank Bigsby kind of eating into Travis Etienne's role in Jacksonville. I don't know. It's it's a different coaching staff that drafted Etienne.
True.
And Mixon is just always reliable. I'm going that way. I'm going Ridley and I'm going Mixon.
I really do think Mixon is tremendous value. It is ADP, and I keep on saying that, but it's just true.
I think his ADP will continue to rise as we approach September. The recent news of his charges being found non-guilty or whatever the legal term. You're more versed in that than I am. But I think it was criminal menacing or something. It was a silly sounding charge, but obviously probably really serious.
Yeah.
But not guilty. That's always a good
it's verdict. A good sign for him.
Yeah, it's always a good verdict. Yeah, whenever we're talking about impact. So
yeah, that's fair. Okay, I'm gonna go kind of interesting. Or am I?
I know your number one running back staring you right in the face right now.
I know my number one guy. He's questionable though apparently, but logs of practice 18 days ago, so probably not too worried about him.
We're talking about Alexander Madison, in case you haven't been
we are.
following with the previous mock drafts.
Yeah, I'd love to take. Honestly, I'd love to take like Kyle Pitts here, but I'm kind of worried about what running back will be there for me whenever I get my next pick. So I think I gotta lock in my running back.
Yeah, and
it's really hard not to pick Alexander Madison. I'm just saying, it really is.
I think it's less hard in PPR, but
it's not like Miles Sanders is a reception beast, and he's the other guy looking at me.
Yeah.
And Kamara looks great, but he's got that 3-game suspension. But do I go for that risk?
Well, what I would say is if you think that a good running back will fall to you in round 6, that you can fill in for Kamara for those first 3 games, then I would go for the upside.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see what happens. This is what this is all about. I want to see how I would feel
about
the strategy, because I haven't done that before.
Before we get to my pick, because I don't even think you mentioned taking Justin Fields in the 4th. How do you feel about that?
Oh, yeah. I just think that he's kind of the last of those elite quarterback with as far as their upside, so I was very happy to lock him in right there.
Fair enough. Well, I've got a interesting choice here. So my tight end ranking video will come out later this same day that you're seeing this. And spoiler alert, I've got Kyle Pitts ahead of Dallas Goedert, so I'm going to go with him. He's got such an amazing upside with his physical abilities. It's really just going to take health and opportunity to get him in a position to be a top 5 option. So I'm going with that, swinging for the fences here. And then I've already got my 2 running backs. I'm going to go with Chris Godwin as my 3rd pass catcher.
Okay. I liked some of those running backs, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, this is kind of a weird draft so far. I am going to go, what is this? NFC South? What is the Falcons, Saints, Buccaneers division?
Yeah, that would be the NFC South.
I'm going NFC South All-Stars for my running backs.
All-Stars.
Okay. Michael! It's my guy.
Yeah, Team 5 did you a favor, I think. That passing offense with Anthony Richardson is going to look rough for, I think most of the season.
I think surely I need to get my 3rd wide receiver, although Evan Ingram's looking at me, but I guess I'm going tight end low this draft. So that kind of hurts. But I really think that, I would ask for your advice, but I don't know. I am going to go... I am actually going to do it. I feel really good about my 2 wide receivers. This might hurt me with depth, but I'm just going to go heavy on wide receivers after this. But I really don't like the idea of Ingram and Firewith being off the board by the time I get my next pick, and then I'm stuck with Njoku or lower, and I don't like that. So, Evan Ingram.
Okay. We'll see how that works out for you.
And all the wide receivers I was thinking about, look at them, all off the board.
Look at them all. All right, so I am going to get my choice between Prescott and Watson on my next pick. I have my tight end already, so I'm going to actually scoop up. I think Jordan Addison here is probably the best value on the board. And then for my quarterback ranking video. Oh, okay, sorry, I misspoke. The tight end video comes out on Thursday of this week. The quarterback video is the one that releases the same day as this one.
Nice.
And no spoilers, but I think this pick will give it away in terms of who I believe in more.
There you go. Okay. I saw not a ton of wide receivers go off the board in this 8th round. I was like, okay, let's look at my options. And I'm like, oh, that's what's there. So not loving it right now, I'm not going to lie. I even see Antonio Gibson looking at me, but I can't be distracted. I need another wide receiver.
Gotta stay disciplined.
I gotta stay disciplined. I mean, I could go upside heavy with this whole draft, and I might just do it because I think I might have safer options when come the ninth round. I mean, I see Kadarius Toney dealing with an injury as of 5 days ago, but on the depth chart, he's wide receiver 1, and I mean, if that hits,
yeah, it's
what are your
interesting.
thoughts?
In Underdog, which is best ball and some of the sharpest ADP around because it's all real money drafts. Sky Moore is going slightly ahead of Kadarius Toney, which is a recent development, and I think honestly the real answer is that it's Travis Kelce and then a bunch of other pass catchers.
Yeah, which is kind of what it ended up being as far as consistency last season.
I mean, Kadarius Toney's skill set of like a gadget player, he's like Laviska Shenault, but it's a lot better.
Yeah,
it's just I just don't think he has what it takes to be a true alpha receiver, and through no fault of his situation, it's just I don't think it's in the cards for him, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm on the clock here.
Yeah, I took Juju with my second pick. I like him. He's also a wide receiver 1 on his depth chart, so just going for those guys. And throw back to when I said this was going to be a hero RB strategy.
Yeah.
So
I've got Jamal Williams and Khalil Herbert looking at me. To be completely honest, I think I'm going to give the nod to Herbert because I do have that security at the position for the early weeks, and Jamal Williams presumably going to be most valuable through Kamara's suspension in the first 3 games. So long term, I'm going to go Khalil Herbert for my season, and then I'm going to pair up my quarterback with Elijah Moore.
I like that. I think that makes the Cortland Sutton. I'm getting sniped.
5 and 7 have your number.
Yeah, they do. They know my guys. I heard, this is very new news as of recording, but Jonathan Taylor having might be going to the Dolphins, not like officially, but that was like the first link that I saw for a potential trade.
I mean, the media's been trying to get some running back to go to Miami all off season, so it doesn't surprise me that like rumor is floating around. I just don't think that. Like I said earlier, I just don't think that anyone's going to want to pay the price to get Jonathan Taylor on their team.
Yeah, that's fair. You were giving some... this is going to end up being a really weird draft. It's the last one, so let's send it. Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore. How about both of them?
Hey, I mean, you are at the stage of the draft where you're starting to take flyers, and I don't mind that, obviously.
Now, do you think I go Rashee Rice with this pick?
That's a little bold. I think he may make it back to you in the next round at least.
That'd be cool. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I feel like I should probably get a 4th running back. Probably. And
who are you thinking? Who do you like more between Damian Harris and Elijah Mitchell?
I almost don't know if I want either of them.
Oh, scrolling further. Who you got?
I don't know.
Algier?
I have Bijan, so there's value in having Algier. So, but that just doesn't give me... once Kamara's healthy, I got Robinson, Kamara, Rashad White. So that is great. And I'm fine if I'd be comfortable starting Rashad White the first 3 weeks. Maybe in the first 4 weeks to see what Kamara's... how quickly he gets thrown back in. And then Rashad White has a bye, and hopefully Kamara will be good. So that being said, I don't know. I'm going to get Algier just to ensure that I have that running back in that backfield. This is a weird draft, but I don't hate it. This just strategy has gone weird.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to potentially get Rashee Rice down the board.
Thank you.
I'm really comfortable with my wide receivers. So far, I have Lamb, Ridley, Godwin, Addison, and Elijah Moore. So
nice.
Feeling really good about that. I'm going to take Elijah Mitchell here. He is in a position to be the most valuable player at running back, a potential league winner, we'll say, if Christian McCaffrey misses time.
Sure.
And then, honestly, with my next pick, I think I've got options, obviously. Don't need a second tight end necessarily, although Kyle Pitts, I mean, as much as I believe in his ability as a player, I sure would like to see it before I just hitch my wagon to him. But I'm gonna stick to him. I can always find a tight end on the waiver wire if I need it. So I think what I'm gonna go with here, and there's a lot of tight ends in this range. I'm gonna scroll a little bit, and I think I'm gonna grab. I'm not grabbing Deontay Foreman. This is tough. I don't know. I'm not loving this range.
Yeah, this range is feeling weird today.
You know what? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair up my Moors, and I'm going Rondale Moore.
You like doing that. You like pairing up your Moors.
You know,
want more.
There's more to love than meets the eye.
Yeah, that's true. That is fair.
Team 8 joining in on the sniping.
Okay, I thought for a second you were saying Team 7 because I'm a Broncos fan. I was like, yep, I was thinking Greg Dulcich. But yeah, Rashee Rice off the board. I can't be tempted to triple up on Chiefs pass catchers and none of them being Kelsey.
I just want to apologize for misleading you, saying he could make it to you in the 12th.
Yeah, how dare you. Okay, here, I really like the look of Jalen Hyatt and Jonathan Mingo, and I hope one of them fall to me in the 13th round, because right now I'm even more enticed by pairing up Darnell Mooney with Justin Fields, just because I think it's a super late flyer, and if that Fields learns how to throw the ball... Don't take... No!
Oh, boy.
Okay, I regret everything. No, not really. Darnell Mooney still has
I probably would have preferred to have...
But
yeah, I probably would have preferred to have two of the rookies, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is what mock drafts are for, is if you do something and you don't like it, you're not going to repeat the mistake. So this is part of what we do here.
Yep.
Gosh, this is a really weird draft. Do I take Kendre Miller? Is he... No, it's going to be Jamal Williams.
Yeah, it's definitely Jamal Williams, and I think that it's tough for a rookie running back deep on the depth chart to kind of break out in his rookie season.
Yeah.
So
especially so quick is when I would need him to do so.
Yeah.
Okay. Welp. I literally don't think I'm going to draft another running back. Right now, I don't even have two running backs that can play in Week 11, but I got plenty of time on waivers to figure that out if this was my real team, so I guess it's not a big deal. But that is a fun fact of my roster at the moment. And I instead am going to go... Justin Ross. No. You know, you inspired me once before with this fella. And that fella is... I was going to be Tank Dell, but no, I'm going Michael Gallup. There you go.
That's interesting. I feel like, I mean, Nico Collins has, I think, more opportunity to be the leading wide receiver for his team, more so than Gallup, so I would have gone Collins there.
But it's the offense. I don't need Gallup to be the leading. I think there's a possibility he could be the wide receiver too, and I think that's a good value ahead of Brandon Cooks. So
Brandon Cooks, shot fired.
Well, I've said it once before in one of these videos. It's not out of the realm of possibility for me. I'll say it again. Brandon Cooks is, I mean, he's only 2 years older than Gallup, but he's been in the league longer. He's got more tread on his tires. That's what we'll say.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt. I think he's gonna. I'll save Kareem Hunt for my last round pick just because I can, and I'm gonna grab. I believe, looking through these options, I'm gonna take. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna take possibly a savvy pick and possibly a dumb pick. I'm going Kenneth Gainwell because there are rumors out there that he's gonna be like the main guy ahead of Rashad Penny, which I find really hard to believe.
What happened to DeAndre Swift?
Well, he was always going to be splitting carries because of the, pass catching skill set.
So main rusher ahead
But Kenneth Gainwell over Rashad Penny is kind of a rumor that's floating around out there. And, hey, my second to last pick, why not take a flyer on that? Similarly, of that same thought process, Kareem Hunt, he's going to end up on a team more likely than not. He's been visiting with tons of teams this offseason, which can speak to a concerning thing more so than a promising thing. But my point is, I think Kareem Hunt's going to get signed. I think that he will return value, and if he doesn't, I'll just cut him and replace him with someone else. No big deal.
Fair enough. I really wish I took Jalen Hyatt or Jonathan Mingo instead of Mooney. I got a little excited about that Bears stack, which, it's not impossible. I mean, Darnell Mooney went way higher than the 12th round last season. He just didn't look good because of how that passing offense was. But, so that if I would do anything differently, it'd certainly be that. I'm not going to take another running back, I guess. And I think I'm going to go... I think I'm going to go KJ Osborne.
Okay.
And I'm not super excited about it. I really like my starting lineup, and I'll just pivot right into talking about my team and what I drafted, because if any injuries happen, I don't like it as much. But, I started out with Bijan, so strong running back, and then got Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith. Oh, Devontae team. And so I'm really liking those first three. Get an elite quarterback in Justin Fields, and then I get Kamara, who will be my RB2 once he's back from suspension. Rashad White, who will be the fill-in. Currently listed as my flex, but he will have to be my starter to start the season. Then Evan Ingram. And then on the bench, I just kind of went wide receiver flyers and went Tony and Moore. Hope for one of them is going to be the best wide receiver to have in the Chiefs offense. And then I got Juju, who I feel good about. He probably would be my flex when Kamara is suspended, and I think that's all right. Mm-hmm. Tyler Algier as the handcuff for Bijan, and then Darnell Mooney, which should be Jalen Hyatt or Jonathan Mingo if I would do it again, because I should have gone more upside rather than he's going to be the wide receiver too in an offense that doesn't pass a lot. But hey, maybe Justin Fields will be a whole new quarterback this season, but more than likely he's just going to be that rusher again. And then Michael Gallup.
I just want to jump in here real quick. For what it's worth, I think the similarities to Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields are more there than not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Obviously the coaching is really important, but I think that Justin Fields did have very similar numbers to what we saw from Jalen Hurts last season, and we saw how Hurts made that next step in his third season. So
that's true.
I think it's It's within the realm of possibilities that Fields does improve as a passer. I mean, even marginally, and it would be an improvement for his pass catcher. So
basically, what you're saying is, by deduction, Darnell Mooney is Devontae Smith, and I like having them both.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, and then I also got Michael Gallup and KJ Osborne, both listed as wide receiver 3s, but they're probably both going to be involved in the offense, and I'd be crossing my fingers for that. There you go.
Yeah. So looking at your running backs now on the big board, it's even more apparent how heavy you went NFC South, and
it's all NFC South.
I find that really funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so for me, I started off with the thought in mind that I'm going to solidify my running back room. Obviously, taking a running back and a wide receiver in the first 2 picks, but taking Nick Chubb, his ceiling is not quite there in PPR, but he's always a top 10 running back. It's hard for him to finish outside the top 10, so I'm happy with that. Joe Mixon is my second running back, and then I grabbed Khalil Herbert as my third starting running back. The rest of the guys I took are pretty much all lottery tickets. Elijah Mitchell, Kenneth Gainwell, if he becomes the lead in Philadelphia, that would be incredible. And Kareem Hunt, he could end up on a team where he's contributing it pretty heavily. Again, another lottery ticket. And those are all picks 11, 13, and 14, so very late in the draft for me. Moving on to wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Calvin Ridley. Those are no doubt number ones at their team. Chris Godwin could be number one if Mike Evans continues to slip, although I don't really expect that to happen. I think both players are going to perform better than expectations, similar to how Seattle did last year. Jordan Addison as my fourth wide receiver. Love the upside, the rookie upside. He's taking over for Adam Thielen, but I think he's going to actually demand more targets than Thielen did last season based on his talents. I've got Watson as my quarterback, and I've paired him up with Elijah Moore. I think that Elijah Moore, we saw tremendous talent from him as a rookie back with the Jets. He can certainly carve out that number 2 role in Cleveland. And then Rondale Moore, just kind of a safe floor guy. And not much else to say about that. So
Yep.
kind of
I like
wraps
that
it
a
up.
little more.
Hope you all enjoyed the video, learned some things, and remember to subscribe to the channel for more fantasy football content like this. Until next
Much love,
time.
everyone.
Bye-bye.